Have you guys heard the term late joiner? Like, I'm a late joiner. I feel like I'm that way with pop culture. When something becomes really popular, I'm immediately skeptical. Like, I have been, gosh, forever, for as long as I can remember. Like, as a kid, I remember. Like, if everybody loves it, there must be something wrong, right? Like, or it's beneath me. And as I've gotten older, I've realized some things about, why I do that. Because there's a few reasons. I don't think I'm better than people. I just, experience has made it such that something that's super popular sometimes is just not, I just don't enjoy it. Like, I just don't, I'm not going to name any names. Just certain music, certain people that become very popular. I'm just like, yeah, I can see why they're popular, but it's just not for me, right? I mean, it's just subjective. There's no real objectivity to it. It's just my opinion, which we're all entitled to, right? But I've also realized sometimes that things that people get really excited about initially, it kind of dies out for lots of reasons. Sometimes the reason is because the people who are involved, who are creating these things, get found out. It's a common kind of stereotypical, kind of tropey, story of like, this person started out great and was talented, or they had great ideas, or whatever. And then they become super popular and they, start making a lot of money or getting a lot of fame. And then they kind of become a jerk, right? I've watched a lot of biopic, like musicians, like Ray Charles story, Elvis, the Johnny Cash and June Cash story, June Carter. And I love them. I'm a musician. I love all those stories. I think they're fun. I loved That Thing You Do. The Tom Hanks story. It's one of my favorites. I love that story. And it gets at all of them get at this concept of these very talented and, we're led to believe they're just good-hearted people, right? Like, they're all good-hearted people underneath it all, but fame and power and wealth corrupt them and they become something that they weren't. And kind of lose their way for a while. What does this have to do with anything? Has everything to do with everything. But specifically, I'm thinking about things that are happening in the church and in evangelical culture. We have an entire group of people now who are creating this persona of themselves as these, rebels. I think of, rebels without a cause. It's like they have a cause. But I think so many of the folks who are coming out of evangelical circles, and rightly so, deconstructing, having these, like meltdowns because they've been in ministry for a long time, or they've, tasted some of that popularity and fame and platforming and all those things. And now something happened, or just a series of things happened that are devastating, and they're reacting to all of it and moving on and trying to figure things out. And I get that. I get, anyone who knows me knows I get all of that. Oh gosh, I get it. You worked so hard. I've been in ministry for the better part of almost 20 years now. And I stepped out of ministry almost 2 years ago, as far as full-time church ministry, under a lot of discouragement and abuse of spiritual authority and lack of clarity and all the things. So I get this. I get how raw I felt, how devastated I was, how angry I was, and bitter at times. I absolutely own that, and I get it. Like, you just want to rage. I mean, you know, one of my favorite bands is Rage Against the Machine, by the way. But, I mean, I get it. Oh, I get it. That said, the emotional health of some of these folks really does come through in what they were doing, and what the ways that, you know, I would listen to podcasts, I would watch their social media presence. Like I said, I'm not an early joiner, because I worry about some of these folks, and I want to see, you know, we talk a lot in evangelical circles about the fruit of ministry is super important, because you're watching these people kind of do exactly the things that they're talking against. They opposed these behaviors in others in the church and in ministry, and they're trying to reform this this new approach to ministry, or this new way of life, or like throwing out Christianity altogether, which is fine also. I mean, you know, there's lots of different avenues that these things take. But if these folks are just repeating the same patterns of, I mean, cruelty and arrogance, I mean, it's all those things start creeping up again and again and again. And it's so painful to watch, isn't it? It's like so painful to see these folks just burning themselves. I mean, you know, shooting themselves in the foot, as it were. And, you know, I'm really sad to hear about what's going on with the new evangelicals and Tim Whitaker and everything that's coming out. It breaks my heart. It really does, because I think what they were doing was important, and I think the messaging was okay, and they were getting at some really good stuff, but this kind of just sets them back in the same way as that everything that I've left, everything that I've left throughout my life. I mean, I've left the Conservative Baptists, I've left the mainline, I've left the PCA. I mean, all these denominations that I've been part of over the course of my life, and for mostly all the same reasons. It's like these patterns just keep repeating themselves. These people that we want to look to as some kind of, hero, or, Moses leading his people out. And it's not the way. This is not the way. I'm hoping that this will be the learning opportunity for some folks to take a big step back and just say, hey, we need to reevaluate. And I know that's happening. With the board of whatever this, like, I didn't even know there was a board. Like, I thought it was just this dude. That's how much I knew about it all. Like, I don't know what's happening, but of course there's a board. Like, of course people want, again, like, people create these platforms and they want to make this big, like, organization that's gonna, change the world, and good for you. I mean, I get that too. That's certainly the way that we operate in our culture. But let's think about that more, right? let's talk about that more, and let's maybe slow our roll, and find ways to do it in healthy, being more healthy, being more skeptical, being more, I believe in healthy skepticism. Like, let's not jump into more stuff because we know better. We should know better. We should know better. And when you know better, you do better.